Tonight we will have stories on the budget cuts coming from the Iowa Senate and how they will impact Iowa State.
Also a preview of what's expected to come tonight from President Trump's State of the Union address.
And I will have stories on Cyclones men's basketball and women's basketball teams, as well as some announcements of new recruits to the football team. Now here's weather.
And I'll have the cold temperatures that are coming this week. This is ISU TV. You're watching Newswatch.
Welcome to our first edition of Newswatch for the spring 2018 semester. I'm Mary Rominger.
And I'm Coley Bergren. Thank you for joining us.
The Iowa State Senate is proposing $50 million in budget cuts for the current fiscal year. These cuts will have the greatest impact on state universities, community colleges, human services, and the state's justice system. Iowa State is facing a potential $17.5 million worth of cuts to their funding. This would lead to canceling of different summer and fall classes, scaling back undergrad financial aid, and a reduction of student services such as academic advising.
Tonight at 8 p.m. Central Time is the State of the Union address after President Trump's first year in office. Proclaiming a new American movement, he's expected to be addressing DACA, the status of the Republican tax code, updates on North Korea and Iran, and the opioid crisis. It is expected he will call for bipartisan compromise in areas such as immigration and infrastructure.
Iowans could see up to a $147 million reduction in heating and cooling bills. This is a result of the new tax law signed by President Donald Trump. The law became effective January 1st and lowers the corporate federal income tax rate 35% to 25%. Mid-American, Alliant, and other investor-owned utilities in Iowa will save millions. The utilities outlined those savings in an Iowa Utilities Board meeting. The board discussed how they will return the tax savings to consumers. Exactly how utilities will pass the money on to consumers is yet to be decided.
FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe is stepping down early. Sources say McCabe's resignation was mutual between him and the White House staff, while others contrast, noting he might have felt pressured. McCabe was up for retirement in March but was able to step down ahead of time. President Trump was notified of the news Monday morning.
The Iowa House of Representatives is ready to consider a new bill. The bill would put the death penalty into action. It will allow death by lethal injection in the case of a conviction for first-degree murder. The House proposal is scheduled for its first hearing this Thursday. The author of the bill states it will send a message that this behavior is no longer tolerated. This would reverse a half-century-old ban on capital punishment in the state. Stay tuned. You're watching Newswatch.
Welcome back to Newswatch. The Cleveland Indians are finally catching up with the times. Beginning in 2019, the Indians logo will no longer feature their Chief Wahoo caricature. The change was announced Monday after quite some time of receiving large amounts of criticism for its racist and offensive design. Indians representatives say the change won't be instilled until 2019, so fans still have time to say their goodbyes.
Iowa State defensive lineman Camilo Tongamoa was arrested early Sunday morning. Tongamoa faced charges including OWI first offense. According to documents, he was driving near Campustown where an ISU police officer heard a crash. An ISU police report states Tongamoa fled the scene at a high rate of speed. Tongamoa registered a BAC of 0.107%. He was arrested and booked in Story County Jail. He was released Sunday morning on a bond of $1,900. The defensive lineman has been suspended for violating the Student-Athlete Code of Conduct policy.
Black Lives Matter has taken its campaign to television. Netflix released the show entitled 7 Seconds that's been in the works for over 2 years now. Writer Vina Sud said she's been working the story in her mind for some time now, as the story was sparked after a black teen died from a neck injury while in custody in 2015. 7 Seconds revolves around the story of a black teen involved in a hit and run who dies on the scene. The full first season is available now on Netflix.
Sunday morning, there was a shooting at a rest stop that injured one person. Deputies with the Franklin County Sheriff's Office responded to the report around 1:30 a.m. according to Sheriff Lynn Larson. The victim was shot once in the upper torso. The victim was transported to North Iowa Mercy Hospital. A man and a woman whom authorities consider persons of interest were captured on video. The two were driving a gray or silver four-door SUV. Authorities are asking for the public's help in identifying the two people in the video.
SpaceX is set to release the world's most powerful rocket. The rocket, entitled Falcon Heavy, is ready to launch on February 6th for the first time ever. Falcon Heavy is set to make rocket and space history for its speed and structure.
Actor Mark Salling passed away today in Los Angeles. The 35-year-old, best known for his role in Fox musical comedy drama Glee. The actor has been indicted for possession of child pornography in May of 2016. His sentencing hearing was scheduled for March 7th of this year. Authorities suspect that the cause of death was suicide, but that is yet to be confirmed. Tune in after the break. Michael will be back with all of our sports updates.
Welcome back to Newswatch. I'm Daniel Gonchman with the weather. So tonight it's going to be a cold 37 degrees, so if you're out there going to your exams, make sure you wear a warm jacket. There's going to be a 13-mile-per-hour wind coming from the south, and feels about 29 degrees right now. As I was saying, it is a 37 degrees in Ames, while the rest of the state is high and low 30s, and some higher 40s on the western side of the state, and some lower 30s and 28s on the eastern side of the state. As you can see, there's a lot of upward wind coming up from the south. Carroll's getting the brunt of it with 23 miles per hour, and then Ames is getting some of it with 13 miles per hour. And then the western side of the state and the eastern side of the state are just kind of getting even amounts of wind on there. And then the wind chill, like I said, it feels like 29 right now in Ames. It's 29 in Des Moines as well. 30 degrees in Sioux City and Council Bluffs. Some low digits on the eastern side of the state. And we're feeling quite the chill there. As you can see from the satellite, we're just going to have some partly cloudy, partly sunny. We have a storm up to the north that just passed right over Iowa, so we're lucky that we're not getting that brunt of the storm. That's the radar for tomorrow. And then we got some lows for tomorrow. It might get really cold, so make sure you bring that jacket, but as you can see, it's going to be 31 tonight. And then you got forecasted highs tomorrow, so it'll be in the 40s. So bring a light jacket. Make sure you bring a jacket tomorrow to class. And then you got 41 degrees, mostly sunny. Some 5 to 7 mile per hour winds coming from the west. And then we got our extended forecast. It looks like from Wednesday to Friday, we're just going to have partly sunny, partly cloudy. It might get a little cold on Saturday with a low of 17. And then on Thursday, it will get colder down to 17. And then on Saturday, we're going to have some snow showers and a low of 31. And then back up to lower temperatures with partly cloudy, partly sunny on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. This has been the weather, and we'll be right back.
To Newswatch. In the UK, during a train ride, a student from Leeds Beckett University, Ella Johannesson, has been on the phone with her bank trying to get her finances in order. Speaking about the debt she had fallen into while at school, she ended up taking a nap on the train and woke up to $100 in her bag that someone left her while she was asleep. She said, quote, "After a terrible 18 months where I lost my father and both of his parents, it showed me that there is kindness and good people in the world," unquote.
What a nice story. And that's all we have for you on tonight's edition of Newswatch.
Stay tuned for our first episode of Insiders.
And have a good night, Ames.